Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee back. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel. We're covering the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? Doing an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for another OnChain hour, and we got Bitcoin sitting over 108, about 108.312. It does seem like Bitcoin is waiting for something. What is it waiting for? Bitcoin is very headline driven. It's waiting for that CPI tomorrow. It's waiting for that PPI on Wednesday, right? But over the weekend, I did a deep dive into the DXY and really seen that potentially the actual alt season that everyone's waiting for might not be until January. And I think I'm okay with that, but I do think that this year is going to be very bullish, but I don't think we're going to get the numbers that we really want to see until Ethereum gets to its all-time high, and I think that's going to be in December. But we have a long way to get there, right? So we can definitely have a really, really good rest of this year. We are seeing a lot of really headline-driven market, and we got a lot of headlines. Some of them good, some of them not good. We're going to be talking about that, but the title of today's show is $8 billion well moved. We did figure out where that money is staying, I guess you would say. We got a lot going on here. Yeah, and we're gonna get into Merlin Monday later today as well. That's gonna be really good. Jeff's gonna be really showing you guys the AI part of Merlin, and that is gonna be very, very big, guys. And Saylor, he didn't buy this week, but he did do something else, so we'll get into that as well. So without further ado, bring our partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling a little for the first time in a while. I feel a little lost here with where Bitcoin seems to want to go. I know I don't typically buy into like the short time frame mindset, but this morning, just preparing, trying to get the Bitcoin price action and have a feel. It's been really confusing. It's been really choppy. I'm seeing liquidity pockets below 108, but then it doesn't want to really go far below that. It's attempted it multiple times, and there's some around 110 that it hasn't really seemed like it wants to go towards that. So look, maybe you're right there that people are waiting on more information for the CPI to really kind of push Bitcoin in one direction or the other. The good thing is it's not like dumping super hard or anything, and it is more of a little bit of a downtrend today than it is an uptrend. So with that being said, I think that's a win. We're not getting beat up like, you know, to a pulp, right? So other than that, you know, everything seems good. The Bitcoin runes sector seems pretty strong, at least for the past 24 hours. I know in that aspect, I do try to stay short-term mind, because runes, you know, if you'll definitely take those W's when you can with that sector. But yeah, I'm ready to get into today's show and start the week strong.
Yeah, I mean, today's price action just reminded me of last summer as well. It's just trader games, right? They take it up to 1083, 1084, and that's just it hits their TP, their take profit, goes back down to 1078 again, hits their take profit. It's just a bunch of traders getting in and out of the market. It feels almost like a sun or like a Saturday, right? Where it's just doing nothing but sideways the entire day. But oh wow, if you check this hour, it's up. This hour it's down. Just a bunch of trader games. I do feel like today feels like a Saturday a little bit, on the sense there's not a lot of people playing in the markets. I'm noticing that a little bit in the S&P and the Dow Jones as well, where the big boys really play, and that's the same thing. You're seeing it go up, you're seeing it go down, which makes me feel like today's the first Monday after July 4th, which a lot of people take off Friday. They take off Monday, and potentially they're preparing for the PPI tomorrow, right? And I think a lot of them are going to be back to their desks tomorrow morning, and we're going to see some real price action, some real movement tomorrow, and maybe dictating the rest of the month as well, because I'm really hoping we don't get a normal July that we've seen the last 2 Julys, right? I want to see a July where we actually get some upward momentum that could lead into August, maybe pullback, and then maybe a September, and that's when we kind of get things going here.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing for congratulations to all the Bitcoin holders for having the all-time high weekly candle close yesterday. So that was a good thing to kind of end the week on.
Yeah, that's one of my stories. So, all right. So we got $8 billion in BTC whale move explained. Key weekly close for Bitcoin July direction. So let's go into that first one there. Arkham Intelligence now believes the primary driver was a technical upgrade, not a sell-off, moving roughly 80,000 BTC from legacy. It starts with a 1 wallet, the original wallet, the Satoshi wallet, right? Addresses into the native SegWit BEC32 format for better security. CryptoQuant and Coinbase Connor Grogan picked up on a tiny 10,000 BCH transaction just before the BTC movement. So this guy, he moved his Bitcoin Cash, which is worth roughly around $4 million that he got for free. So every one of those wallets had Bitcoin Cash, and those Bitcoin Cash moved first, and then he sent the 10,000 Bitcoin. So every one of those wallets had 10,000 Bitcoin Cash, 10,000 Bitcoin, and 10,000 Satoshi Vision. And he sent he left the Satoshi Vision in the wallet, which I thought was kind of funny. But he moved out the VCH and the Bitcoin back to back. On-chain data shows those new wallets have been sitting idle since the transfer. No signs of further movement or dumping, and market analysts confirm there's no immediate selling pressure. So this is kind of good. This was kind of why Friday kind of dipped out. Everyone was worried about what was going on here. It seems like this early miner was just making sure that his assets were safe.
Yeah, that was pretty funny about the SBV or BSV being left in the wallet. Like, does he not care? I'll take it. Shoot, because he can always send it to centralized exchange, right? That supports it. But yeah, this is I think a calming revelation, that the fact that like it's just being moved to be in a more secure position versus getting ready to offload on an exchange or something like that. So
yeah, man. And then the second part of that is Bitcoin records the highest weekly close in history, 109 to 217. Like you said, congratulations to everyone. I mean, this is a big thing for the ecosystem right now. This is absolutely huge for the holders of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of those assets now that is being held by, it seems like, more TradFi guys than anything else. But it's whales and TradFi guys, I feel like, are the only people really holding Bitcoin who are really, really pushing this number up right now.
yeah, wells and institutions and stuff like that, right? But this is a big deal, like you said, and you and I both expected a little bit more of a pop off after that weekly candle close,
Yeah.
but didn't seem like it had too much juice left in it. whether that's just kind of negative energy on crypto Twitter's timeline with you know, the current administration, and then a new party being formed by Elon, all this stuff. But you know, the one thing I will say is that, like, even today, like, whenever I did see it pull back, I expected kind of like one of those red days, first half of the days, right? Okay, let's get to 107.5, let's get to 107. And it's been resilient. It really has been resilient. The only thing in the past, like, I would say, I could even go back 3 months. The only thing that has really just gut punched Bitcoin, you know, because I'm talking about after the tariffs, it was the headline of dropping the bombs. That was pretty much it. Everything else kind of tried to put a scare into Bitcoin's price, but Bitcoin was able to be resilient and kind of stay strong, right? So that's what I'm seeing today as well. I'm seeing some strength in Bitcoin, even though it looks like it should be more of a pullback day.
Yeah, I mean, but it's doing the exact same thing as the S&P and the Dow Jones, right? The Dow Jones is down 0.5. I mean, sorry, 0.6. The you know, the S&P 500 down 0.5. Bitcoin's down 0.8, right? This is Bitcoin is now just following whatever the Dow Jones and the ES1 is doing, right? So that's just kind of what I'm seeing here. It's very similar. I mean, almost identical.
Bitcoin was but Bitcoin was like got punched like really hard with the tariffs initially, but was able to kind of handle the tariff news much better than than the S&P was and stuff like that. Because the administration even came out and said, you know, crypto is actually handling the news better from that standpoint. That's why I bring that up. But I do agree that, like, it is starting to be in that category from a generalized perspective of, you know, a TradFi asset almost.
Yeah, but the S&P is over the all-time high, right? Bitcoin isn't. The Dow Jones is over the all-time high. Bitcoin isn't. So that's the only reason why I kind of push back on that a little bit. Yeah, they got hit, but they were way more resilient than it seems like Bitcoin was. Bitcoin was kind of
not during the tariffs times, but for the recent stuff, yeah. If you're looking at like a month and a half to 2 months ago, it was handling it better than the TradFi assets, or at least that's what the administration came out with. Maybe they're you know, maybe they don't have the correct numbers, but
yeah, it's like, this is the chart here, and this is kind of what they're saying, right? But the resilience though was insanely strong. Like it did dip. So this is the S&P 500. It got all the way down to basically hit its line almost here that it's been kind of following for a little while here, and kind of, it was just complete resilience. I mean, the bounce back on the S&P was absolutely insane, and then basically back up here at an all-time high. But yeah. So we're gonna jump in there. Elon Musk says his new American Party will embrace Bitcoin. Fiat is hopeless. So Elon is starting the American Party, which is absolutely terrible for the Republican Party, because the only people that are going to be part of this American Party are the same people who voted for Trump. So this is not a good thing. Elon says Scott Bassett, the guy who is rumored to punch him in the face, is a George Soros stooge who can't do math. And then President Trump fired back and says he's saddened to see Elon Musk go off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. So we do know what's bothering Elon. This bill passed on Friday. He no longer getting any of the government subsidies as he was getting. There's no more buying an electric car gets you a tax write-off. Those days are behind us. And he seems to be upset about that.
Yeah, because before it was a mandate, wasn't it? Or like or it was sorry, what was the EV credit was like there was some sort of situation to where you were almost kind of financially forcing people to go electric, right? And that was removed. And so I feel like that has probably a little bit more to do with him being upset, but he always can, you know, talk about the debt and the deficit, you know, because like you can't argue that. You know, so I feel like I actually feel like Elon's in a good position here because he is not happy with the EV stuff. And then so he can kind of actually win over some of those, you know, the left people that maybe kind of hated him towards the end of last election, but because of the EV kind of stance that he's always had, but like, you know, saying that the subsidies have been taken away. And then also the deficit part, he can kind of take some of the conservatives. So you're right, like it does break things up. So it makes me a little bit nervous about the midterms in terms of the economy. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just more like, I want a stable economy. I want a stable like plan for the economy. And whenever you do like flip one part of Congress, then you lose a lot of that power to get that plan continually filled out. But like you said pre-show, you know, he has what, a year and a half here to get things really strong and stuff like that. But I don't know what this goes. But the one good thing I will say is that, you know, he did say fiat is hopeless, and, you know, so he's going to be supporting digital assets. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is great, right? But is it because I think he needs Bitcoin more than Bitcoin needs him, right? And then like in the sense of he needs those voters. Those are the voters that made a giant difference in the last election, in my opinion, right? It was
Donors.
them.
Those donors.
Well, the donors too. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, the Bitcoin crypto was one of the leading areas of donations, right, to these parties. And can you see, like let's just say the Democratic Party, what percentage do you think goes to the American Party from the Democratic Party?
I think he can probably swipe probably a good 25%.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it would be really hard to get that number. I think that's probably a little bit
Very generous.
yeah. Or you know, the goal is maybe the bar is a little too high at 25%. But let's just say he sets it at that and he gets like 15 to 20%. That would be a win still, in my opinion, because those people are pretty, you know, loyal in terms of like their cultism, and both sides have that, by the way. I'm not just trying to get like political on one side or the other. But speaking of that, like, okay, let's, like, he can grab that side, but like the biggest thing for him is, like, I think he's going to look at crypto in this industry as like the most, like, number one. He has to grab this industry, because whenever you look at the previous kind of lobbyists and sectors, like the banking and financial sector ruled everything before. I feel like, you know, yes, you had like pharmaceutical, you had different lobbyists and stuff like that, but it really kind of ties back to the financial sector, I feel like. And this is like the new financial sector, and you saw the kind of chess move shift with whenever the Trump administration went and just opened the arms to the crypto space. The crypto space completely embraced them, because they said, we want to help, we want to make this better. And if Elon has that same approach, he could win over a lot. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you there. I think it gets between 15% minimum to 25% maximum of the Democratic Party. I think he gets 55% of the Republican Party, because I'm already leaning to the American Party right now, right? Because I don't really believe in a lot of stuff that the Republicans kind of push, besides the financial game, besides the financial stuff, right? Besides, you know, all, like, a lot of that stuff. So I'm already immediately going into the American Party. So basically the Republican Party already lost me, and I just changed my license to, or when I did that, my voter thing, to Republican from Green Party, which was a joke at the time. So, you know, it was a complete joke. And then, you know, so now I'm probably going to change it to the American Party. So I think Elon's about to just dismantle the Republican Party to where I don't think we can win. They can win anything going forward after the American Party hits base. Because think about the people that follow Elon. They're young. They're, you know what I mean? They're just, you know, about technology and this type of stuff. The boomers are the only people that are going to stay in the Republican Party.
I don't know. It's going to be it's going to be a unique party, and you know, without, you know, stringing this on for too long, I'll say that, like, the third party has never worked before in this two-party system. The one person that could do something is Elon, just because he has the money, and, you know, if he does try to cater towards crypto, then he has even more money. And at the end of the day, as much as it sucks, like, money is what really kind of pushes stuff. I mean, yes, the left spent, or the Democrats spent more money last election cycle, but that was very unique. You had like like, you know, perfect storm on the other side to kind of win that. But typically money is what wins it all. So we'll see.
Yeah, and 100%. And let's just say, you know, the Republican Party go with Marco Rubio, which that's kind of who they're leading for as the next president if Trump can't run again, because he can't. But and then what happens if JD Vance goes and joins the American Party, right? And is a leading candidate there. So it's going to be, because that's the one thing the Republican Party doesn't have again. They don't have Trump again. So we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah.
Moving along here, last thing about the Trump administration, to publish a report on Bitcoin and crypto policy around July 2022. Crypto in America reports it may include recommendations on funding a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So this was brought out by Bitcoin Magazine this morning. I just seen it. I don't know if this is a huge headline or not, but for the White House administration to put out an article on July 22nd about potential strategic Bitcoin reserve, it does seem like they have plans, and this is kind of like the first part of that plan.
Yeah, I really hope that this is something that they can actually get done.
Yeah.
But what do you think if you were to slap a percentage by, let's say 2028? What's the percentage that you think a federal Bitcoin reserve would be actually created?
If it doesn't happen in the next 12 months, I don't think it'll ever happen. I think
Yeah,
they just have all the tools and all the votes right now.
Yeah, especially if they get flipped on one side, right? Then it's
Yeah.
pretty much going to be really tough. I don't know. But look, it seems like they're trying to push things now and get things into place. So I think you gotta at least respect that they're giving it the best shot right now. We'll see.
100%. Yeah, man. All right, let's kind of get into some market watch. So I just wanted to just giving you guys a heads up. You know what I mean? We're not trying to keep digging into CPI tomorrow, but this is a really important thing to watch. This is marketwatch.com, economic, politics, and calendar. So you see tomorrow is July 8th, right? So we're getting what is going on this chart? Okay, here it is. Okay, Tuesday, July 9th. CPI year over year. We're getting that tomorrow. The core CPI, the core PPI, and then on Wednesday we're getting the core PPI here. CPI on Tuesday, PPI on Wednesday, and then this is the big one here. So we're getting the Philadelphia Fed. He's going to speak on Thursday, and there's another Fed also speaking as well. So what do you think happens tomorrow? I'm actually thinking. I mean, we've seen manipulation with numbers last week. I think that continues. I think this CPI number is going to come in drastically lower than expectations. And the expectations right now are about 2.5%. I think it comes in at like 2.2.
Oof. Yeah, I think it's going to come in probably better than expected. I don't know. 2.2 would be a pretty big win. I feel like, right?
Huge win.
Yeah, I think that would probably push everything up a decent amount. But look, the past couple of months, the CPI has come in like better than expected, and I think that has surprised a lot of people because of the tariff talk and all this stuff. But let's say it comes in at 2.2, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that changes anything for rate cuts at the end of this month?
Well, let's talk about that. So PolyMarket showing 95%, right? So let's kind of go into that. So 95%. So yes, I do think so. I actually did some math. I started looking at it. I tried to figure out how much money would it take to put this back at 50-50. And ChatGPT said something on the order of $3 million to $4 million to create a new chain. That's not a lot of money. I mean, to us it is, but that's not a lot of money to some of these bigger players who play on PolyMarket. We've seen these swings kind of all the time. Someone can come in with a $2 million bet at 6% and completely change the course of this, right? This is the biggest thing. This is money and what happens is when someone does that, people come in behind him and say, what does he know that I don't? What does he know that I don't? And then potentially you can see this at 51%. If this gets anywhere near 50%, I think we get the rate cut.
And we have the rest of the month.
I think we
too.
We do.
Right. So we got 23 days until that actual decision is made. So look, this could look very different. I know right now it seems like it's not even a question, but depending on what that CPI comes in tomorrow, that's why I was like, if it comes in at 2.2, dude, like how much closer can we get to 2? Obviously 2.1. but you know what I'm saying? Like at this point, it's like the economy looks great. Like do you need another month to wait to see if tariffs are going to really affect it again? Like you could just keep using that for up until the end of the year if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's showing. If this is the telling month, right? This is the month that we're gonna know if inflation is happening because of the tariffs or not. And I don't think it is. I'm not seeing it personally. I do most of the shopping, for my family, right? I go to the supermarket and stuff like that. I'm seeing like I spent like $375.
I feel like some of it's gone. Certain things have gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
like my sparkling waters, they've definitely gone down, and they've gone down by like $2 per 12 pack. But like I don't know. We'll see what this number comes in tomorrow, and maybe they won't be fudged numbers, and maybe we're seeing what in the grocery store what they'll tell us tomorrow. We'll see.
we're usually about between like $400 a week in groceries, and this week it was like $375. And I noticed when I'm going through stuff, looking at stuff, I'm like, oh wow, that's cheaper, that's cheaper, that's cheaper. And we buy like a lot of meat and stuff, and the meat's actually dropping as well. And so I don't know what's going on, but yeah. All right. Colin Talks Crypto. He had this chart here. I just want to show this really quickly. Where are you, Colin? All right, so here it is right here. So he's basically saying these wicks are insanity right now. So he said basically BTC just wicked up to 110. It's hungry for the highs. I strongly think new all-time highs are coming, and it's just a matter of time, and not much longer either. So I didn't even notice this, that we wicked up here to like 109,700. Like I was watching it yesterday between 109 and 200, but this looks like around between 6 and 9 p.m. on the 7th, which was I think this might have been yesterday because I don't really know. No, 6. The 6 was 7 start here. So around 6 p.m. last night, did you see a wick up to 109.7?
I didn't see it go that high. I thought, like, I don't know what chart I was looking at, but I thought like 109.4 was the highest.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at the hour chart, I'm seeing it wick at 109.7, I guess.
Damn. And yeah, this kind of takes us into his other thing here, right? Which is the global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. And this is kind of really updated now. What do you think, man? Like, if he's basically saying we're ready to take off, we're supposed to be at 119 right now, according to this. If we followed this, on point. Do you see that? Maybe we skipped out on this dip, and now we're going to catch up. I mean, potentially 119 by the end of the week. What do you think?
I mean, it definitely could happen if we get good numbers tomorrow. If we get another couple of headlines. Look, it's July 7th. I said mid-July is kind of like that cutoff for me to where it would make that big move. But of course, that's just kind of where I was off of this. But yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. Will it happen? I don't know, man. Like, I feel right now there's just this weird, like, we all feel like Bitcoin wants to like really have this big jump up, but there's moments and days that is like you don't get that like positive energy feeling with price action, but it's still not like dumping the other way. So maybe it's just kind of like consolidating the past like week or so, and we will get this rise up this week. That would be great, because if we get to 115, 119 by Friday, heading into the weekend, you're going to see, the runes sector really start to thrive. You'll see crypto Twitter to get some good energy heading into the weekend. And then, we got about, at that point, 2 weeks left, almost a little bit more to finish the month.
It's exciting, dude. If we get up to 119, we could potentially do the catch up, right? I mean, if you look down here, August is right here, right? This line right here is August. So we could catch up, dude. We could get up to 143 by the end of August. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows what could happen from there? But definitely fun to look at. Just take it with a grain of salt that we've had some deviations, especially recently, and that could continue, but it might not. But we'll see. Moving along here, though, Michael Saylor. Some weeks he just hodl, right? He said he didn't buy yesterday for the first time in 4 weeks, right? So he didn't buy anything. But then today they came out with Strategy announces the $4.2 billion STRD at the market program. So this came out right after Metaplanet said, maybe Saylor didn't buy, but we did. Metaplanet buys another 2,205 Bitcoin at 108,000 each, posts 416% year-to-date yield. I don't know how they get that number. Total holdings reach 15,555 Bitcoin as of July 7th. So Saylor immediately came out and put it at the market program out now to basically sell some more STRD into the market and get 4.2 billion. Does look like he's gearing up for a buy next week.
Yeah, when that headline came out, I was a little worried, man, because I thought people were going to take it and be bearish on it, and the price would get sent down. Even the price did kind of go down to this morning, but it didn't get like crushed. So, yeah, sometimes I guess you just got to hold, right? Whenever you don't have the accessible, being able to sell down your stock, but. Look, I wouldn't. He's probably going to pick things right back up next week. That's just kind of how he is. When he takes a break, it ain't long.
So what do you think? Do you think he buys the whole 4.2 billion? next week, or do you think he buys two? Does he start
I think he
DCA a
splits it
little
up.
bit?
I think he
Yeah,
splits it
yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's smart. That's smart. Unless he's gearing up for a huge upward momentum, and he's just
Yeah.
getting that FOMO right now. But we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out next Monday.
Wait, he could be a part of pushing it up though. So
I mean, 4.2 billion would do that,
yeah.
but I don't know. Yeah, 100%. All right. So Franklin Templeton, $800 million of its Franklin U.S. government money fund. So they have their own bonds, right, that they buy and they hold in this fund for people to go. You can go to the stock market and buy the FOBXX, which gets you exposure to the bonds that they hold, and it does give a yield for those bonds. And so they just put in the BENJI tokens, BENJI is the ticker on Stellar, Polygon, Arbitrum, Avalanche, and Base, backed by U.S. Treasury. So now Franklin Templeton is giving you an opportunity to buy these tokens and actually get real yield for the first time, really, in crypto. You're actually going to get yield on these tokens, basically without staking them. You're just going to get your airdrop, some BENJI tokens. I don't know if it's quarterly, yearly, whatever, but Franklin Templeton leading the charge here.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about though last week. I was saying there's going to be products that come from the TradFi side that you guys are going to see opportunities for. This is a perfect example of that, right? I'd love to learn the details and stuff of what exactly you need to do, but you know, they're putting them on, first of all, Stellar, which I'm probably 1 or 2% of crypto Twitter has probably ever used that chain. Polygon, Arbitrum, Avalanche, and Coin, like Base, right? So the other four are real, you know, popular. People have used them a lot, stuff like that. But it's interesting. Also interested in why they chose Stellar in that group, but must be some sort of partnership or something.
Yeah, I think Franklin Templeton's been building there for a while. It's one of those things where I think it's EVM, but I'm not sure. I don't know, but all these other ones are EVM, right?
Yeah.
Avalanche, Coinbase. So it might just be an easy copy and paste for them because it's EVM. They are building a front page for this, so you will be able to potentially stake these. I don't know if you have to stake them to get the yield or what. But I don't know. This is really, it's different. I've never seen bonds tokenized before. I mean, we're seeing stocks now, bonds. Imagine having a 60-40 portfolio for a boomer, and it's all tokenized assets. Tesla, that's some BENJI.
Buying some BENJI token. I do like the name of the token. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So over 138 million worth of tokens will unlock this week. The largest will be 50.44 million unlocked by Aptos. So I just want to talk about this for a second because I think a lot of these companies were gearing up for a bull run this year. So that's why you're seeing a lot of tokens unlock. I mean, we saw it last month with, I think it was Sui, this month with Aptos. Are they disappointed that we're not in a bull run with kind of maybe they're expecting it? Let me pull up this chart real quick. So Celestia is it seems like every day they're unlocking 1.43 million, and then you're seeing the bigger ones. So Steppen has a $3 million. ENS $17.46 million worth of tokens, and then you're seeing some of the other ones as well. Aptos right here. This is the Saturday, the 12th, $50 million. But do you think they were expecting a bull run? Is that why so much tokens are unlocking these last couple weeks?
Of course, and they probably felt like it would be safe because whenever everything's number go up, then you don't feel a sell down of like millions of dollars as much, right? But we saw a little similar situation of this in the Bitcoin layer 2 ecosystem or like the Bitcoin ecosystem from 2024 when they expected like a kind of a boom for that ecosystem, but it was obviously didn't happen the way they expected. This is at a much larger scale, obviously, but yeah, I'm sure there's some VCs that are like, what the I thought I was gonna see at least like a 5 to 10x return or something like that at this point, but maybe a couple of them with certain tokens have seen like maybe a 1 or 2, like a 2x return, maybe 3. I don't think
not these ones, not ENS or Aptos.
Yeah, well, Solana has some unlocks too, right? So
yeah,
but
not really seeing Solana.
Oh, really?
Wrong,
I thought they had some unlocks coming up, some big ones. Maybe it's further
there's
down.
a 19-cent unlock for Stargate, 19 cents. So that's
19 cents.
I don't know why that's there. $525 for Radiant. I don't get it. But yeah, so definitely something to pay attention to if you do hold any of these tokens. I honestly wouldn't hold any of these tokens, honestly. with these giant unlocks, these VC tokens. But
yeah.
All right, let's move along here. So one of your favorite people in the world, this piece of trash here. No, I'm just kidding. But ECB President warns stablecoins could trigger a private, what is it? Privatization of money. So which
Privatization.
privatization of money could trigger privatization of money here. Users global regulation before adoption accelerates. So what do you think about what she's saying here? Is she scared? I think she's scared. If stablecoins come online, if stablecoins start to really be a thing here where we're going to Walmart and you're going to these places and you're just scanning a QR code and you're paying with stablecoins, she's a central bank, right? So she, to me, dude, this is the ultimate success, is beating her and beating everything she stands for.
Yeah, they are scared. They, as in the WEF and the global elites, that all kind of go back to these central banks, right? They're scared because they always had the power of printing money, or if a country was printing money, they pretty much, in the EU had to go through them or talk to them, right? And then same thing in the US, you got to go through the Fed. In Argentina, you had to go through their central bank. What's his name? Malay got rid of the central bank actually, and supposedly they are like thriving in terms of affordable homes and stuff like that now. But like the privatization, I don't know why that word is so hard to say, but
I don't get it. I notice.
Yeah, but of being able to kind of create your own stable coin, that does scare them. That they lose power, right? So they don't like it.
They don't like it at all. U.S. Secret Service expands global network to fight crypto crime, boosting cross-border blockchain tracing. So when I think of the Secret Service, I think of protecting the president, protecting members of Congress, protecting things. I never seen them actually do anything in this sense. Is this something from Trump? Is this new, do you think? I should have did some more research in this, but I don't think Secret Service is normal to be doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, I think they're an extension of like the intelligence agencies, I believe.
Gotcha.
Maybe I don't know. That's me speculating, but that's the only thing I could think of because typically you wouldn't. I agree with you. You think of them having more missions of like protecting politicians and important people.
Yeah. 100%, not really, but this is really cool. This might be something that Trump's doing as well, saying, hey, like let's make sure that my crypto is safe, and let's because so we'll see. The next thing here is Hyperliquid generated 1.7 million in fees over the past 24 hours. So this is what I'm kind of saying with trader games, right? This is kind of what we're seeing right now, is a lot of people going long on Hyperliquid with way too much leverage, and then going short with Hyperliquid way too much leverage. And I think that's what's kind of driving the price of some of these coins here. And as you can see, dude, Hyperliquid isn't just like winning; they are destroying everything. I mean, this is 1.5 million in fees, right? They're about almost like 2 million, 1.7. And then Solana, is that Solana, right? They're always going to have a lot of transactions because
Radium
of who they are, Radium and all those launch pads and stuff like that. And Ethereum barely over 500K. Bitcoin's right there though, which is cool. You are seeing some Bitcoin actually beat BNB. BNB is super cheap though. It's so cheap. Like Tron, super cheap base, super cheap.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
because that's not just they're not just like lining them up against other like prominent perps and leverage dexes. This is chain to chain.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, and that's like 98% their perp decks, because they do have other stuff, right? I know they do spot, but it's all within
minimal
there.
Though.
Yeah,
it's like 98% of perp stacks.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, that's Hyperliquid, dude. To me, it's going to $120, and that's when they're going to get taken down by some of these bigger guys. These bigger guys are seeing this, the Binance, the Coinbases of the world and stuff like that, and they're just trying. Coinbase is just trying to get into leverage stuff, and they're seeing this as a problem. And I think that's the same problem that some of these stablecoin providers seen with Luna, man. And they're not gonna let this be a thing.
Though I feel like it's so.
But it's still, it goes against their bottom line. It goes against everything they stand for.
Yeah,
Centralization. right?
I mean, first of all, I think if there's like some sort of collusion to take down Hyperliquid, I think that should be looked at as like an illegal situation, unless Hyperliquid was doing something wrong, right? Now, so with the thing with Luna was that like he said that he created this algorithmic stable token that was, you know, impenetrable, right? Like you couldn't take it down. And people were like, nah, there is the way your system works. There is. I just don't know how that would work here. Obviously, they've had a situation which was scary for them, but they were able to press pause and say, all right, don't worry, users, we're gonna take care of you guys, but we got to make sure the camp doesn't, you know, like burn down or whatever, right? We have to make sure like the house doesn't burn. And I think they'll do that again. They'll do that over and over and over. Like with Luna, you didn't have that opportunity because Luna, the stable coin, was actually on different platforms. So that's where people were taking advantage of that, right? So because Hyperliquid has everything in house, I think it's gonna be really hard to take them down. But we'll see what happens.
I see two options. I see Binance, OKX saying you can't beat them, join them, and they come on chain. Right, they put their dexes, or they create a second dex that is on chain that is competitor to Hyperliquid. Or I see this is kind of the easier way for them. They say we don't like this. We want to destroy it, right? And I think that with them having so much money, they're able to pay off certain people to like look the other way on this type of stuff. That's kind of
sounds like mafia stuff.
They are. I mean, this is the OKX, Binance. You know, this is the crypto mafia, dude. The guys who run these exchanges run crypto. You like it or not, right? They're the reason why the giant wicks go up and liquidate you. They're the reason why giant wicks go down and liquidate you, right? The market makers, the Wintermutes of the world, they pay. Wintermute is basically the hitman, bro. Like it's the mafia. Like these guys are the mafia, and this is a problem. But to them, I think they want to short this. I think they're going to want this to go up as much as possible, and they're going to take it down. The harder they go, the faster they go up, the harder they fall.
Yeah, but so don't you think that first attempt, that was an attempt, though?
It was a test. That was a test, and it worked. Imagine that by 100. I mean, times that by 100.
But it didn't work because it didn't sabotage them.
But you saw a flicker, and that flicker is all they needed to see.
Yeah. We'll see.
They made them feel decentralized. Centralized, right? That's what they wanted. They wanted
but
bro.
Everybody in like you and I and most people that have been listening to us for, let's say, like a year at least, we've talked about Hyperliquid on here before. Like everybody knows that they're centralized, even though they try to come off. They have certain characteristics.
They have the Solana.
Like, they have character. There you go. And it's almost kind of, it's a chain app as well, right? So that's new, something new. That's cool what they're doing, but it's a centralized approach.
Well, they need to start structured as centralized because these big guys, man, they don't like this. I'm worried for them, but I do think there's gonna be a lot of success first. It's going to be one of those coins that I think is going to start the bear market in May of 2026, but we'll see. That's just me speculating, right? So crypto fear and greed here. So last week we're at a 52. Yesterday we're at a 50. We're pretty much where we are last week.
52.
Yeah, right on. So we're at 52 right now. I did see someone post that Saturday we were at 65. I must have missed it. I don't know. But I think 52 neutral. I think this is perfectly aligns with what I'm saying, but we're kind of all waiting for tomorrow. People are still on vacation. Tomorrow is going to be something that we're all going to be paying attention to for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think tomorrow could be a big day if we get good numbers.
Yep. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action here.
Yagobi's on the charts, drawing trend lines tight, tagging liquidation zones in the dead of night, spotting breakouts, setting targets high. He's free falling from the sky, charting his mind, plotting Bitcoin wicks mid-air, never confined, locking in liquidation zones before he deployed.
So I didn't have time to do another one.
That's our boy Sam Sage. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get into that Bitcoin crypto. Let me get the banner here. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action, guys. Brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're going to be on Botonics, guys. Botonics went live. If you are part of our member program, go watch the video we did yesterday. We kind of walk you through how to get started with Botonics, and they have this really cool little world city thing that you guys can think. We do have some referral codes in there. There's 5 of them in there. We're going to put some more in there as well. But if you are one of the lucky 5 to grab them, good for you. Go get them. They're inside the video there. And guys, but this launch is going to be huge. We just talked about Hyperliquid, right? We just talked about, but potentially these guys are going to be potentially a better version of that because they're not worried about their chain, right? They're not their own chain. They're actually using Botonics, which is going to allow them to do a lot more things differently than Hyperliquid. So this is something to really pay attention to too, because the potential airdrops are going to be massive. The potential money you can gain from just using the platform is going to be huge because on Botonics, but we found that Botonics is going to be airdropping Bitcoin to people who use the chain. And we know Artura is going to be potentially doing an airdrop of the ARA token. So when you get their points there, you're going to be potentially getting a double airdrop. This is going to be exciting, guys, because I definitely want our community to win, and I want you guys to be a part of that. And also, they're going to be launching on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. We do know that. So we do know what once they have a token, they're potentially going to airdrop it to Hemi chain users, and it might get listed on Binance, which is going to be absolutely huge as well. So you definitely want to play on Artura.finance over there as well. Get as much free money as you can get, especially now when everything's down a lot. So this is a big opportunity for a lot of you guys to take advantage of. Check out Artura.finance.
Absolutely excited for those guys and what they're about to do with their launch. Remember, it's like Shizzy said, both chains, Botonics and Hemi, are going to be where they will start, right? So it's exciting stuff for that team. But before we get into Bitcoin price action, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live on X. Let's share the space, get as many people in here as possible. We really appreciate you guys for helping us out. Same thing on the abstract side, but let's get into some price action here, starting with the hour chart. Man, I'll tell you what, like, it's been really back and forth this morning, man. And it's been a little tough if you have been in both sides, if you've been in a long position or a short position, because you really don't know. I mean, obviously, if you waited it out early this morning, then you were in a good spot. If you shorted at like this, it was kind of like late last night, 11 p.m. Sunday night, if you were able to catch that at like 109. But, even though it's only down like $1,100. So let's take a look here at what the indicators are telling us. So first, let's start with the Bollinger Bands. Let's see, you can see like we opened up as this kind of downtrend happened, right? And typically what will happen is it'll start to tighten if we consolidate. So if that happens here, if we continually go sideways, right, then this will tighten up here. But if we make a rebound, then it'll stay open until we decide to kind of, get more consistent going just sideways. But the MACD is showing a little bit of exhaustion for the first time. This actually just started to lighten up here on the hour chart. So I don't know. I'm really going to be watching this really close because we've been ranging between like 108, 100, 108, just 108,000 in general to like 108, 600 this entire morning. It's been like a complete back and forth. So right now you would think, okay, we're in a little bit of a bullish movement here, but I'm expecting it just to go back down to 108, 200 because that's what's been happening all morning. So we'll see if it continually chops back and forth. But if we do get a turnaround and this does exhaust, and maybe we get something a little bit more bullish on the later part of today, heading into the night. Maybe people got some early information on the CPI. We'll see. Maybe there's some good numbers there. But yeah, so for me, I'm just kind of watching this to see if we do actually catch some momentum, because we haven't been able to catch momentum on either side. I'll tell you that. Not strong enough anyways. So that's the hour chart, guys. Let's take a look here at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour does kind of give a little bit of confirmation to kind of downtrend. You can see here that the MACD is exhausted. It looks like it does want to come down, but remember that could flip because each candle is 4 hours. So if we do get the next couple hours with some positive price action, propping it up, pushing it to the upside, this could open back up, very easily. So right now, though, it is giving some confirmation that, hey, look, we might have a little bit further down. I know that there's some liquidation pockets at 107 600 around there, and on the way down. So it's like 107 800 to 107 600. There's, I would say, probably about 30 to 40 million left to liquidate. So that's something to keep your eye on. So this does give confirmation to a little bit of a downside. So we'll see. The daily looks kind of exhausted as well, but this has been back and forth. You can see here, it's like a good day, kind of not so good day, not so good day. So, you know, even if we do, unless we do like have like a really aggressive pull down, I don't think we come out of this yet, especially with kind of what most of us are expecting for at least like, you know, maybe this week or next week of July to have that thrust up. So we'll see if this keeps playing out the way it has been, which has kind of been like, you know, choppiness is basically what we're seeing here. The weekly, we look pretty good to end the weekly candle yesterday, right? So we'll see this week. We've started off with a red candle, but it's really small, and that's okay. We'll see how we continue out this week and end on Sunday. You can see right here, it looked like we were going to lose the momentum of, you know, the buy pressure on the stochastic RSI, but we did turn around here, and which shows right here, and we'll see if we continue that. I think we're okay on the weekly chart. Again, I'm in the camp that thinks that we get to 120 to 130 at least either by the end of this week or by the end of next week. But we'll see. We do have 23 days left in this month, and who knows? We're not genies, right? We can't tell you exactly what or fortune tellers, I should say, exactly what tomorrow is going to bring. But that is kind of what I'm seeing on the weekly for Bitcoin as well. And that will wrap up Bitcoin there. Let's take a look at the others. The others is as doing the same thing on the weekly as Bitcoin, except for, you know, I would say probably about 3 days behind. You can see that waiting for some bullish signal from either Ethereum or Bitcoin to really thrust up to catch up here. But man, this is so crazy. Look at the MACD. You can barely see anything. It's just sideways barely here. And that's what we've been getting for the others. And the others is everything besides Bitcoin in the top 10. So yeah, I would say just hang tight, guys. Let's see what this next move for Bitcoin is going to be, right? I don't expect like an aggressive move down. I don't expect us to go like to like 102, 103 or anything like that. I think if anything, if we do see that pull down that the 4-hour chart's kind of saying that we might see, we might get to like 107.5, maybe low 107s, and then kind of pull back up. Because I do think that, you know, we still have the M2 supply in our favor there. All right, so that is the others. Let's take a look at the alts here. Going to go to the crypto bubbles, which is always fun to look at. We're getting a little bit of a mixed bag here. I would say 65%, 70% probably in the red. Some big memes that have pulled back are Pingu down 7.1%, Dogwoof Hat down 4.1%, Bonk only down 0.5%, but I feel like Bonk's been, you know, getting a lot of positive you know, sentiment because of the launch pad on the Solana side, taking that you know, attention away from Pump Fund, which, hey, anybody that does that, I'm in their camp. And then
launch pads do we need though, bro?
Yeah, I agree. And it's the same, it all at the end of the day, it's all the same thing, right? But I just have a bad like I go, you know, Pump Fund, like I just don't like them. I don't know. Anyways, you got Doge pulling back 0.9%. Let's see some utility here. XRP. Well, you wouldn't say that's utility, but non-traditional memes, non-traditional.
I don't know,
memes.
dude. Now I'm kind of feeling the other way. I mean, the EVM chain, they're doing a lot of stuff over there with RWAs. I'm feeling differently about the XRPL. And if they can integrate XRP at all, I mean, and some stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting kind of bullish on XRP.
It is their gas token, but it's very minimal over there. 2.7% pull up. Hyperliquid up 1.1%. The meme that's sticking out here is obviously SPX, which is up 3.7%. And then you see Aave up 4.1%, and then Hex up 7.6%. Let's take a look at the top 200 here. M, there's always a random one. There's always a random one on the top 200, but M is up 114%, whatever that is. Pulse X is up 10.7%. What else we got here? BSV is up 2.2%. Maybe he moves that BSV that he has in his wallet there. Dog Go to the Moon up 1.8%. Shout out Dog, staying in the green when most everything is red. You see Mog is down 2.9%. Popcat down 3.3%. Arrow moved out of the top 100 and now in the top 200, which I'm sure they'll probably be, but they're 101 now, as you can see their rank, but they're down 2.9%. And for the people wondering, what is Arrow? Arrow is the AMM DEX servicing Coinbase's on-chain transactions, or whenever they're going to offer the kind of on-chain tokens to their customers, they're going to be doing it for them. Arrow's going to be doing it for them, and they're also in the Ink ecosystem, which is part of Kraken's Ethereum layer 2. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They could be a hot one coming up, but that is what I'm seeing for these crypto bubbles.
Yeah, and rumor has it Robinhood's going to be using Arrow as well. So Arrow and Uniswap are going to be kind of the biggest two competitors in my eyes, because Uniswap isn't going after these companies. Arrow is. I mean, Arrow is just a fork of Uniswap v3, right? At the end of the day, but decentralization and then a team behind it that works. But let's jump into the next thing here, which is roll call. Let's get into your comments, guys. I know you guys have been commenting crazy here today. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. First is first on this channel. We take the first comment on YouTube and we put that on a chart here. So let's show the chart. Congratulations, Lackey Lukey, with your 34th win of the year. We are giving away a Bitcoin frog that is valued about $700. All you got to do is beat Lackey Lukey at this point. But now shout out to you, man. I'm proud of you, man. Absolutely awesome. WebDro with 29 and Danny Boy with 26. So it's still anyone's game. We still have over 100 episodes left of the show. So this is still anyone's game, but it does feel like Lackey Lukey is just killing it, man. Shout out to you, my friend. Tim Baker is here. Crypto Decoded says, Ghost stole my D. It's not a fun experience. So I feel for you, bro. I've never had a ghost steal my D.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. ASAP Benji is here. WebDro is here. Mats is here. Lackey Lukey again. Hydro Sapien, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. He said, we got this, dog. Yes, sir. Choda is here. Shout out to Choda. Merlin's Lucky is here. Shout out to Merlin's Lucky. Every single day, Merlin's Lucky. Really appreciate you. Lackey Lukey again. Bitcoin is Truth is here. Satoshi Nakamoto. K99. Chips and Dip is here. Spindrift. DXY needs to drop. I agree. Vader Time says, yo, what's up, Vader Time? No is here. Shout out to No GM to all. No is a Nuki. Shout out to the Nukies. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats right at 11 o'clock. Appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. Hydro Sapien is here. Appreciate you, my friend. Malam Yuri, every single day, Malam. Have an amazing day to you. And then Mr. Sheedy, we missed you, Sheedy. So what's up, guys? Hope you have a great day. We hope you have a great day, Sheedy. Absolutely awesome to have you here today, buddy. Albert Amari says, don't forget when Elon said Bitcoin uses too much energy. And so that wasn't Elon. That was Larry Fink. So Larry Fink basically was going to dump Tesla shares because of this. At the time, Larry Fink was against Bitcoin because of the energy. Larry Fink is he loves to make money with the energy type of stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But when at the time, Bitcoin was being 60% fossil fuels, but now it's below 50% now. So he's not really saying that anymore. But he said, I'm sticking with Democratic Party. I need my SNAP benefits back.
I can't tell. Was that sarcasm?
Yeah,
there? Okay.
I think so. He's like, Elon is not the greatest advocate for Bitcoin. He just wants power and control. He wants the Bitcoin money. He wants he wants that to be a part of his party for sure, 100%. Stan says, if I shopped for the fam, I would have a cart of Oreos. Yeah, sometimes, dude, that's kind of what happens. They got more chips in there than actual food sometimes. Don says, when can I BRC20 swap? Probably never, honestly. I don't
you
know,
answer
Don.
Me.
What's up?
I was telling him, let me ask you that question. Like,
Yeah.
we've been asking that forever, right?
So, I mean, I don't know. You can swap on tap, but you can't swap. Did you ever think that was gonna happen? You could swap on tap, but you can't swap on
before the no, I didn't think that was gonna happen, man. I was like, we've been waiting for that forever, and then finally when we got it, all our BRC20s were locked in there.
Stan says, is there a BTC stable? So there's a couple of them. There's Hermetica. They're very small. Ducat, I think, is another one. So you can look into those
BUSD, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's another one coming, right? USDB. or something like that. Isn't that from the Spark guys?
Yeah, USDB, and then remember that USDC is here from Starknet as well. So there's stables here. There hasn't been anything that like has like really just taken over the market though yet.
100%. Stan says, can Coinbase take down Hyperliquid if Coinbase is restricted by the SEC? So it won't be Coinbase. They're not a part of the mafia, but there will be other crypto mafia guys in there. Mari says, Bitcoin is bad for society. Well, I can't take you serious, bro. Which is why I'm against Bitcoin. It would create an unfair playground, destroy founding vision of. All right, stop it, bro. Lazy people who don't want to contribute to society still make money. All right, buddy. I sense the sarcasm there, so I can't take you seriously. Stan says, "What the channel know Richard Hart's whereabouts? He's actually hanging out with me in my basement. Yeah,
he's chained. He's chained up in Shizzy's basement. Every once in a while, it puts the lotion on his skin.
Or Richard Hart gets the hose again. No, just like Paulie says, ETH will rocket if the team cuts the inflation. So you can't cut the inflation. It's going to be 6%. But you need to burn. You need to burn ETH.
I mean, that's you need a lot of transactions. That was the dream. Remember, guys?
Yeah.
Ultrasound money.
Malam Yuri says, hey, you already talked about why the alt season could be in January. No, I haven't. I'll speak on that a little bit. I'll show the DXY chart after this. I did do a members video. I don't think you remember, but we'll go over it again. I broke it down for the members in the members video yesterday. Nocturnal says GM. Albert does not. Oh yeah, Nocturnal. It's been a while, bro. I almost skipped him.
For sure.
Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here, bro. I think he pops in like every 3 months to kind of check on things, and then he goes away. So we'll see you in about 3 months, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. It's awesome. It's awesome having you here today. Albert says, no sarcasm, bro. Real talk. Bitcoiners are afraid to get. I am afraid to get a real job, bro. I don't want. I love what I do.
Wait,
I don't want to get a real job.
What's considered a real job, though? I'm curious what you consider a real job. I mean, we do.
I work. I mean, we work.
I think he's talking about like people that have like 10,000 Bitcoin and then they transfer them to like a more secure wallet, and then they transfer their Bitcoin Cash, but they leave their Bitcoin Satoshi Vision in there. He's talking about him.
He said, not gambling on crypto. Well, it won't be a gamble for much longer, in my opinion, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be a part of the everyday investor, but we will see. We do got a couple of comments here from Anzar Merle from X. He says Merlin layer 2 is the best BTC layer 2. Stake your BTC and let it work for you. Wow, he's rhyming there, unless he's rapping. He said, what a nice stuff. I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
Know this guy, but he must have a different name or something. Ansar.
I don't know.
Ansar.
Either way,
all right.
We miss you too, Ansar.
100%. All right, guys, it's time to get into our next segment here. Let me get rid of this comment here. Okay. So every Monday, we like to spend some time with our good friends over at Merlin Chain. So Merlin Chain, these guys are building something really awesome. So originally, they were building, for the Bitcoin layer 1 ecosystem type of L1 tokens, but they recently have upgraded. Now they're going into AI, guys. So they are going into AI, but also Bitcoin DeFi. So Bitcoin DeFi is going to be one of the biggest opportunities in the world, right? Because people have a lot of Bitcoin. Some of them have 10,000 in one wallet that they would love to earn yield on that, right? You already see Michael Saylor talking about he's getting yield. You see Metaplanet talking about how they can get yield. Today, we're going to go over something where you guys can get yield on your Bitcoin and a lot of other stuff. But Merlin Chain isn't stopping there. With the AI, with the wizard, he's going to be growing, possibly upgrading at like real often, guys. This can be one of the biggest AI projects in my point of view, and one that I'm going to be using daily. So without further ado, let's bring up Jeff. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Oh, what's up, guys? Sorry about last Monday.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries, man. No worries. We know you're a busy guy, so sometimes you get caught up. First, I want to kind of kick it off like how we always do. Get a little bit of a market sentiment. Yesterday we had our highest weekly green candle close for Bitcoin ever, right? But it didn't really have a lot of energy following that close, and then now we see kind of pulling back a little bit today. What are you expecting? Obviously we know you're not a fortune teller, but what's your sentiment feeling for the rest of July, maybe rest of the summer?
Yeah, I think we every time we talk about this, right? And I think in January we kind of, I mean, in Q1 we kind of expect this kind of second bull run from Bitcoin, but the alt season is not here yet. But I'm becoming more confident because Bitcoin is kind of staying strong. I mean, a few days ago when it dropped to 100K, I think that is like the most dangerous time. But after that, somehow bounce back, staying over the EMA line. So to me, I think the longer we stay over 108, the safer we are, and definitely we can see the lack of liquidity on altcoin on memes recently. But I think that's not a bad thing. Just give more energy to Bitcoin. I mean, I'm really afraid some shit happen like pump fund onto the token and drain the liquidity, or the World Liberty Fi launch the token. I mean, I think their token right now pre-market is about like 20 billion.
Wow.
So imagine if that goes on listing and people buy that. Basically, the liquidity in the market right now is not that good. And if these giant projects drain liquidity from the market, I think that would be a bad thing. But right now, I think it's pretty good. It's safe for Bitcoin to stay over 105, 106. If it's getting better, to reach new all-time high. And I think there's going to be some opportunities for memes and also altcoins.
Yeah. And speaking of opportunities, the Bitcoin ecosystem is kind of where we all met, right? And you go back to 2023, 2024, we've been through the ups and we definitely been through the downs, right? And so as of late, though, there's been some success in terms of attention. So congratulations to Merlin, as you guys got listed on Kraken as well as Dog from the Rune side. Do you see this as kind of a start for like the Bitcoin ecosystem assets getting a little bit more and more attention, or is it kind of a shot in the pan, kind of out of nowhere?
I think it's definitely getting better, much better. And I mean, last year when Bitcoin, BTCfi, Bitcoin Layer 2, BTC staking, all these came out, people have like lots of doubts, which I mean, I take it because every time new things come up, people have crap out. Like when people ask Bill Gates, like, why is internet so important? I can listen to the baseball game on my radio. That is like one of the most funnest thing like I watched when I was a kid. So even these great interviewers, TV hosts, they ask these kind of dumb questions. We see this happen with mobile phone, with iPhone. When iPhone came out, people say that's just bullshit. It's never going to be as good as Nokia, and now Nokia is gone. So yeah, so I mean last year when Bitcoin ecosystem came out, people talk lots of bad things about them, but I think right now people are kind of becoming more and more into this, trying to figure out what's going on. That's why Kraken, they listed Dog, they listed Merlin, and also from all kinds of countries. In Europe, there's a ECC event in France last week. Lots of people are talking about how to deploy Bitcoin, yield farming on different chains, and people finally realize lots of topics we talked last year are gone. But BTCfi are still here. Bitcoin are still here. Bitcoin Layer 2s are still here. I mean, ordinals and ruins are still here. So I think right now it's it's great timing for people to review their thoughts on Bitcoin ecosystem, and I think that's healthy for everyone. No matter users or builders.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. I think, and that's the thing too, is we have so much more infrastructure now in the Bitcoin ecosystem than we never had before, right? Like Merlin now, you guys upgraded recently to I think it's number 12 now, right? Could you explain that for people that really have maybe missed that, about how much better and faster Merlin Chain is now?
Yeah, like before when we do trading on Merlin Chain, because we're using ZK structure, and the TPS is about 20 to 30, and if you're doing swap, it's about 5 to 10, which is like really bad. So if the market is getting crazier, like last December, Merlin cannot handle all these transactions. But right now, we did some pressure tests last week. I think I posted a tweet before, sometime last week. Right now, the TPS is about 200 to 300 at least. So that's transactions per second. So if we are facing a new meme season, if you're trying to do more token launches on Merlin Chain, that's possible. And because the gas fee is so cheap, so it's going to be much easier to launch these assets on Merlin Chain than Bitcoin Layer 1. And I think right now people are not that into launching assets on Layer 1 because it takes too long, the gas fee too high. But yeah, so we're preparing for future opportunities if the market is coming back.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to be ready, right? Because at some point, whether it's Q3, Q4 this year or Q1, Q2 next year, there's going to be that moment to where you're going to get pressured on for your chain's performance. And so that's good that you guys are updating there. Let's talk about first. We've noticed that you've worked on your brand, the strength of your brand, whether it's, the Rep Bitcoin, whether it's, Binance Alpha, Kraken, all these things. You're kind of doing all these things that like you can control or at least try to like make it stronger. But we haven't talked too much about where the focus is for Merlin. It seems to be like the Wizard AI. Could you talk about that and where you see the future of that going?
Yeah, of course. I think right now, because we started with Make a Bitcoin Fund again, with all those fund ordinals. Like I think for more than half of them, I already lost some memory. When I'm becoming older, I really cannot remember all things. But at that time, ordinals was so much fun. There are lots of new games on Bitcoin. With the what's that, Runestone. And what's the other rooms token doing, like mining? What's the name of?
RSIC.
RSIC.
Yeah, RSIC. Sorry, RSIC guys, but my bad. So yeah, so that time we think Bitcoin can be fun with all these ordinals, inscriptions, composable ideas, recursive inscriptions, and right now we have to face the fact Make Bitcoin Fun again is not that like a cool idea anymore to the new users, because at that time I think that's really cool. People talk about Merlin Chain Bitcoin Fund, and we also think BTCfi is one of the most important thing we are going to do in the future. But also BTCfi should not only be for the whales, but also should be there for the retail users. I think right now like many retail users don't have Bitcoin, because like to them, if they want to become millionaire overnight, they cannot do that by having Bitcoin. But also they want stable assets in their portfolio and grow with the market. I mean, to be honest, no assets is outperforming Bitcoin in the past few months. So I think to me that's a contradiction there. That's like a paradox, and we want to solve this. So the basic idea we're trying to make here is you hold Bitcoin for the most, like of your portfolio. If you have 100K, you hold like 100K worth of Bitcoin, and also you stake your Bitcoin to generate yields, and also based on Bitcoin, so you will get more and more Bitcoin. But at the same time, can you chase some speculation? Can you be a speculator on different memes on different chains? Like today I saw some crazy memes on Solana, and Virtuals, they're doing some like awesome stuff too. And also for meme on BNB chain, they're doing some memes launching every day, hundreds of projects every day. So can you hold your $100K worth of Bitcoin and earning 10-20% yields on Bitcoin, but also you can trade all these memes on different chains? So I think we are trying to achieve this kind of goal, and we want to make this kind of product easier for everyone to use. That's the Wizard product is trying to achieve. I can share my screen to some prototype we have been building. It hasn't been public yet, but I can share some.
Yeah, for sure.
And share the screen. 1 second. Share screen.
Make sure the URL isn't showing.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
That's the version. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, like this is like what I did like 3 minutes ago. Before the show, I was having some calls, so I have to do this like 1 last second. So I basically asked the Wizard some questions about tokens on Solana. So this is like a token I saw today, which is like traded crazily on Solana. So I asked top 10 buyers on this token, and it gives me these addresses in the past hours on Solana, like how many tokens they buy, and I get I mean, this is just like a prototype. So next you can click on this link, and you will give you like the Explorer link, where it gives you like GMG link, so you can see what he buys, like when he buys, what price he buys. And then I ask, like just total random questions because I did like 3 minutes before the show, and I ask, what's the top 10 most traded tokens on Solana in past 1 hour. You can change this, like 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 10 minutes, whatever you want, and it gives me, like all these tokens, they are mostly traded, and I can check like one of them by clicking them. But right now, this is like just a demo. And then I ask, give me the addresses which buy more than 100 so in past 2 hours on Solana. And it gives me, these 10 addresses, they spend, 4,700 so in the past 2 hours. And I can check, what tokens they buy. So, these are the questions that I tried, but I can try more. And right now we support over 100 different types of questions. Are whales selling? Are whales, buying? Like which addresses they're making profits, they're generating revenue on this token or not. All kinds of questions you want to ask, but you cannot find them anywhere, no matter on GMGN or other, data platform, because these data are generated, are coming from chain with raw data, and we use AI to turning this, raw data into something you want to ask.
I love that.
Yeah, and this is a video that we did this afternoon about trading this as, like I said, holding Bitcoin, but also trading them using your Bitcoin. So this is buy Tron on Solana, and you are basically using your Bitcoin to buy buy this Tron token on Solana. And I mean you can support any token you want. You're just typing the address, and then you confirm, you sign with your MetaMask, and then you just you will get the tokens on Solana. And also this is, I think, sell. So basically when you buy the token and then you want to sell, and then you can sell this Trump token on Solana, and it will give you you can get Bitcoin back, and you can get stablecoin back. So you can choose, you want to get stablecoin, or you can get Bitcoin. So basically you convert your stablecoin to Bitcoin, and then you can sell this token. So this is just a simple demo on the on the product. So you can ask Wizard to, like before, you can ask Wizard to do staking. So first, if you have 1 Bitcoin, you stake that Bitcoin to earn 10% yield. That's the first step. And then you can ask the Wizard, all kinds of chains, all kinds of tokens, what's going on there. These questions, it cannot be answered, on other platform right now. And you can see, what tokens you want to buy. And it supports all kinds of on-chain tokens. So it doesn't have to be me. It can be a stablecoin. It can be, BNB. It can be Ethereum. It can be Solana. It can be Merl. It can be, anything, as long as this token have, DEX supporting them to trade. And you can choose what to buy, and then you can use the Wizard to buy these memes from the Bitcoin you staked. So basically, you stake your Bitcoin, earn yields, but sometimes you want to spend money. You can spend that Bitcoin to buy memes, whatever you want. And then, if the price goes up, you can sell these tokens and get your Bitcoin back, and then stake into the pool again to earn yields. So I think that's like the perfect trading strategy for retail users, because right now you don't have to hold a stablecoin, you don't have to hold BNB or Ethereum or Solana or Sway. You only hold Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the strongest token ever, and then you can earn yields based on your Bitcoin, and then you can do some speculation, using your Bitcoin to buy other stuff, but eventually you will sell all of them and buy Bitcoin back. That's how rich people get richer, because they always sell whatever they have to buy Bitcoin.
So it's a stacking Bitcoin strategy while you're still speculating with these memes on the short term, but the whole goal is to speculate to trade. Basically, it's not even, you're just trading to stack more Bitcoin. I love that. So let me ask you this. So this is Bitcoin that's being staked. So let's say that you use 0.01 of your Bitcoin, then they will deduct that from the staking amount for that period that you're using it. And then whenever you put it back, they'll recalculate whatever that new balance is, correct?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure I clear that up.
But I mean, when you spend your Bitcoin to buy memes, you will not have yields on those, Bitcoin you spent.
Yeah.
That, duration.
However long until you put it back.
Yes. And you don't need to use, a website anymore. Just use a Wizard to do all these things. So you don't need to worry about, like where do I put them, how do I stake them? Yeah.
Gotcha. And then also it's cross chain too, right? So I mean that's what I've seen. So I've seen stuff to where like an AI can trade for you and stuff, but it's typically for just like a specific chain dedicated to it. But you guys are doing like you can use your Bitcoin. I assume that initially you're going to probably try to support the most popular ones like Solana, BSC, stuff like that.
Yeah, yes. I think that solves, the ultimate problem because, when you have Bitcoin on layer one in your unit set, you cannot trade that, if there's a new Trump token coming up, it takes forever to trade that token for you because you need to deposit that into, Binance, sell that Bitcoin to stablecoin, and then, using that stablecoin to buy Solana, and then withdrawing that Solana on chain, create your wallet on Solana, and then buy. And when the time you buy, you probably lost, most of the profits.
Gotcha. So you're basically using the Merlin wallet itself, basically. So the wallet, so the tokens I'm holding and buying, like the Trump tokens, I'm holding them in the same wallet, just like it's a smart wallet. Basically the same thing you did with Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
Account abstraction. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Really awesome.
We got a question from the audience here. Stan says, is the wizard primarily a financial AI tool? If so, is a wizard ask all incoming? For example, I'm in search for a hottie. who would shop for Oreos? Thanks. So I think he's asking, is it like just only for financial blockchain information, or could you actually kind of be like, hey, what is the weather today in Shanghai or something like that?
I mean, we can support that. We already support that, but we actually debug those functions because we don't want users to spend over, because Wizard is not making money, but we are paying the
inference.
We are paying the API tokens, using those AI. So we don't want people to ask these kind of questions. But who knows? Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems really awesome. It's gonna be really cool one day when you just wake up and you go to your phone, you kind of like, hey, what's going on right now? And this wizard's kind of giving you all the information. You come out of the shower and you're like, got everything right there for you. I mean, it's AI has completely changed the trading game for sure. And what Merlin is doing with the account abstraction, I mean, I'm blown away by this. So I'm going to be able to like buy Solana tokens with my Merlin wallet using my Bitcoin that I bridged in the. This is insane, Jeff. This is going to bring so many users on chain now that actually can just hold in one wallet and not worry about anything else.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the future for crypto because like right now, I think people face these kind of questions because you have too many wallets, you have too many assets, and none of them outperforms Bitcoin, and people regret, why they want to hit like hold Bitcoin on the first place. But sometimes you want trade memes, you want to have some speculation on different alts, but that's just human nature. So we want to support both of these needs, by one holding Bitcoin, second doing some crazy trades at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know this next thing, and this is the last thing I have for you, but it's not the easiest thing for a founder to talk about, but I want to hit on maybe the Merlin community or our audience, maybe what they could expect for possible listings. I know you can't go into too much details regarding Merlin. Is there something that they could be expecting, or maybe you can talk about? If you can't, I understand as well. Oh
yeah, I mean, today we got listed by one of the only 3 regulated exchanges in Korea, and you guys know, I mean, Yagobi, you must know how crazy Koreans traded tokens. So yeah, today Coin One listed us on their official website. I mean, not official listed yet, but you can deposit, and you can deposit like today, and I think the trading starts on Wednesday. So basically, there are only 3 regulated exchange in Korea, and one of them has already listed us, and we are looking for good news from the other 2 exchanges, of course. But yeah, I think right now we have Europe, we have Kraken in US, and we have one in Korea, and we're just trying to expand more. So yeah, basically 2 other exchanges in Korea, and also on Coinbase. Working on Coinbase as well, and also last week we had team talking with the biggest exchange in Spain, biggest exchange in Austria. So we're going to hear some good news back from them as well. So basically, yeah, just preparing to list our assets on every place we can find, and waiting for the altcoin season if that comes.
Yeah, man, 100%. I have one more thing, Jeff, that's kind of not Merlin related. I'd love to get your opinion on this. So I was doing research Friday night. I spent about 3 hours looking into this stuff, and I came across the USDXY. And the reason why I'm showing it here is because we're in July, right? And let's take it back to July of 2017. We've seen DXY cross under this number. This number right here is 95. Every single time that it crossed under 95, we've seen an alt season and a bull run, right? So let's just say July of 2017. Obviously, you were a part of that. By January of 2018, it was a full-on alt season. It was ICO season. It was absolutely insane. And then we've seen the same thing in 2020. Right, in 2020, we've seen it drop below that 95 again, and then we had a full year. So this is exactly 1 year. And we're about to enter that again, Jeff. We're about to enter. If we can get below this 95, we can continue below this. Potentially, once we break below it, and it could be July again, which is funny because this last two were both July. If we can drop below that, we could see an alt season that maybe starts in December and ends in like May. I would love to get your perspective on someone who actually lived this.
Yeah, of course. I think first, that is definitely one of the things we saw it before, and I think that somehow like sometimes you cannot predict in the future based on past, but somehow people actually read into this, and for many times they can actually see if that drops below that line, we can see that because that's just like the economics. And also I think the second half year of 2025 is going to be a pretty good year for the alts, because I think for the past 12 months we have too many projects listed on central exchange. So basically you can see their announcement like every day. Every day there's a new project doing whatever they claim, and they got listed on Binance, OKX, Bybit, MEX, Gate. But right now we don't, because they're very, very, like, in my mind they're only like 2 to 3 projects that haven't listed, but got huge fundraising before. One of them is Monad, one of them is Mega ETH. So we don't have many big, like I said, big projects drain liquidity from the market, right? So we don't have many, like we don't have any big project left. And also because the altcoin are doing so poorly for the past year, so the VCs are gone. Like in Asia, I can say for sure 95% of the VCs are gone. They're down investing. They haven't raised money from LP anymore. So if we don't see like lots of new alt projects coming, coming, so where do the liquidity go? I think the liquidity will go back to the projects who actually prove their track record and doing pretty well in many exchanges. So yeah, I think your is more like an indicator, and mine is like more like a feeling in the industry, because no builder is raising any fund right now because there's no VC. You don't see any VC news investment in the past quarter or 2 quarters. So yeah, let's see what could happen in the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, man, it's going to be awesome to see. Right? I'm ready to just kind of see what happens. A lot of the indicators are M2 money supply. You got this one. You got kind of what you're saying there about a lot of money coming back to the alts that actually are going to try changing stuff and innovating, and enough with the gambling of like we've seen over the past year. But absolutely awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming and talking to our audience today. But love to give you stage one last time. If you have anything else to say to the audience before we let go?
I think I'm good, and let's see, if we can ship the product, as soon as possible, because right now I think everything is down, but we're still trying to figure out, some user experience issues, and as long as we have, covered that, we are going to, release the product for the users.
Awesome. Can't wait, Jeff. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.
Cool. See you guys.
Bye. See you, buddy. Absolutely awesome as always, Jeff and the Merlin Chain. Dude, really cool. The using the account abstraction, the kind of I didn't even know about this. Like, this is something I was sitting there, I was in awe watching, and like when you came in with your question, I had the same question, and once he elaborated a little further, I was like, holy crap! So I'm going to be able to use my Bitcoin on Merlin to buy things on Sui, to buy things on Solana, to buy things anywhere, potentially ETH as well.
Yeah,
all done through the wizard, all using my Bitcoin. I set it, forget it, buy it, I come back when I'm ready to sell it, go through the same process the opposite way. I mean, it's going to be insane.
Well, I think that's the future of it, right? So, once you connect your Bitcoin wallet to the Merlin ecosystem, then you're going to get generated addresses for those different environments. But yeah, let's not forget that like Merlin Chain was the innovator, in my opinion. It was the first one using account abstraction for Bitcoin. In an EVM tech stack, so that's really big. And another thing too is that like getting listed on Kraken from a chain token that is headquartered not in the United States is not an easy thing to do. You have to go through all the regulation paperwork. You have to make sure that you're gonna everything is good to go. And so that's what I mean by like they are putting doing everything within their control, and they'll reap the benefits down the road. I'm sure of that. So super excited for the future of Merlin. But yeah, I think that was a really cool segment there.
Yeah, that was absolutely awesome. I got some rune stuff. That's cool? We can jump through. All right, cool. So this is the first thing that I seen here. So MineBridge June recap. So he's recapping the month of June here. He's a 3 million bridge last month, now spanning 3 chains. Dog leading the pack with 3 million. So I'm guessing the 3 chains are Solana, Near, and Bitcoin. And this is huge because Dog go to the moon, $2.2 million in bridge volume. Pups 270K, Billy to 120K. Gizmo, which I was actually shocked about, apparently is trading on Solana. I mean, this is or was it Near?
Maybe Near.
Okay, I gotta look into that because if there's a liquidity pool for Gizmo, I'm gonna get excited. And Magic Internet Money, same thing. But we might have seen these now that I think about it going to Near. But they do say, look at this, dude, Base and Ethereum. We do know we want to get Leonidas wants to get Dog on Base because then you're able to buy it as a Coinbase user. Yep. Actually, any of these tokens on Base is really good, but it looks like the guys over at RuneSmine, our good friend Jeff and his team over there, they're actually building bridges now that could take you to ETH and Base. It's absolutely huge.
It is huge, and with them, like they continually build. I know, like the launch of RuneShot wasn't necessarily probably like the most volume and all that stuff, but they keep their head down and they keep building. So I'm excited to see what happens once they add Base and Ethereum to their bridge and see what that looks like, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that's how you do it. Unlike, not trying to take shots at Funky Bit, but like they just went straight to Base without like any other type of roadmaps of like, okay, waiting for this milestone first, that milestone first. They did it on Bitcoin, Solana, Near, then continue to do it after they found success in terms of how to get these bridges going and the platform going and stuff like that. So yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, the Launchpad game is a tough game, right? I mean, we're seeing Pump Fun kind of struggling right now. So it's just like you got to be no, I agree. But you got to be at the right place at the right time. And I think Odin was the only one that was at the right place at the right time when it came to Bitcoin launchpads because they're obviously seeing success in a lot of different ways. Bob Bodley, though, he is somebody that a lot of people over here really see value in and something he's building. So potentially that is another reason why. I'm not saying people didn't see it in RuneMine. It's just Near is just something that a lot of people don't have experience in using over there, and with ICP and stuff like that. Bob gave you kind of that feel, but I'm sure they did.
B Life was a big part of that
B Life
as well.
That's true. That's true.
Getting that Chinese community bought into Odin was huge.
Yeah. 100%. So let's jump into Rune's market cap here as the last thing that we're going to get into. So let's check it out here. So let me bring my screen up. All right, so I'm going to go to the 7-day because I think the 7 days is going to be a lot more telling than the 1 day here. Because kind of going over the week, we do have Dog sitting around 0.0044, which is a $444 million market cap, up 4.9% on the week. Lobo, the Wolf Pup, this is the one that shocked the world here, sitting at 12.5 million, up 245%, all because of the CEO of Kraken pushed up. What do you think about Dog and Lobo here?
Oh, man, Lobo re-enters itself as a main contender now, right? I don't know how they were able to pull it off, but getting the CEO of Kraken to post about it was a big deal. And you saw the market cap jump up. You talked about it. Went from what like 3-4 million to all the way to 15, so almost a 5x. So that's the big deal there. So now I'm looking at some of these other ones. Like people that follow me know that like I have I'm a Billy holder. I am involved with that community. I think it's funny. I do the memes and stuff. So I'm trying to invigorate that community's energy, get that energy back, right? Because when they're all on the same page, they're a strong community, right?
Yeah.
Now then you got pups, and I feel like people were talking about yesterday that Billy was almost about to pass pups, and then all of a sudden you saw some sales come into pups. I think Farmer Joe like scans that in case like someone's saying that Billy's about to pass pups, because next thing you know, like it jumps up 2 million in market cap, and so Billy's behind it now. And now today you're seeing Gizmo jump up, right? So. Yeah. Today Runes looks great comparative to some of these other meme ecosystems, right? Let's see if this can continue. Because everybody right now, I feel like they're doing like those weird like bird mating dances for like Kraken. They're trying to figure out like, hey, yeah, like, hey, look at me. But it's an opportunity, right? Like I was in the Billy chat saying, hey, look, guys, this is the opportunity. You want to date the girl at the homecoming, the homecoming queen. You got to go up and impress her, and this is the time to do that. Whatever community you're in the Runes ecosystem, you better rev up your community, because who knows what they're looking for. But one thing that they noticed with Dog is Dog was loud consistently, and that's what attracted them to them, and that's what I think, at least. And they got on there, and I'm in the camp too, that they're looking for a couple other runes to bring on board. So here's your shot.
Yeah, and Kraken didn't spend 6 months developing this runes thing to list one token, right? And they wanted, Dog was the reason why they developed it, but now they have this entire ecosystem now that is looking at them, and they're looking at us like, hey, what's up? We're a perfect match now. You guys have the infrastructure, we have the memes, we have the community. Let us onboard our community to Kraken. Let's push together. And I think I love that, because I love Kraken team. We watching the CEO kind of talk to Leonidas. We're watching all that stuff, and Leonidas is the perfect person to push Dog. I think it's just like the perfect union there of just the same idea, right? We're all here for a few different reasons, right? And the main reason is to kind of push the Bitcoin ecosystem forward, to kind of push this narrative as the #1 narrative in all of crypto. In order to do that, we need people like Kraken. We need people like that's the CEO over there, and it's really cool to see. But you are right. I do see other ones getting listed, and it does feel like a lot of them are like, hey, look at me, but they should be. And I guess my biggest thing is they're not being loud enough. How do we get these communities loud? Because we do know that they're here. We do know that they're powerful. But why aren't they spamming X, spamming Kraken, and kind of pushing, saying, hey, we're here, we're loud, list us?
I think it's because they got exhausted before, because I mean, if you go back to late 2024, whenever the run started, with it always kind of starts with Dog, but this time it kind of started with Billy. Billy got to $155 million market cap, and everybody was like, just, it was everywhere. I felt like they did a great job. They need to bring that energy back. But the problem is once you saw other ecosystems, right, kind of that had memes that were strong, pull back with everything else in beginning of 2025 and middle of 2025, like the runes pulled back more. And I feel like it was because there's not the same level of, like, I'm not sure if it's like because of the UI or what, but it was just, you didn't have that same level of like sustainability, except for with Dog. And Dog did sustain the social media aspect. In fact, it cranked it up a couple notches. So that should be a lesson for the other token community, saying, hey, look, runes can thrive, and it can catch the eyes and ears of people that it needs to, the important people. But you got to really believe in it, because like the people in Dog, they 100 million% believe in what they're doing. And some of the other ones, I feel like some of them is like 60%. Some of it's like, 50%, 30%. And I'm not calling out any individual one. I'm just saying as a whole. So I would say really believe in what you're posting about, and try to get your community riled up, because that's the only thing that's really gonna, take you guys to the next level.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. My next question for you, though, is it a positive or a negative that these things are priced in Bitcoin? Because let's just say Bitcoin does ramp up to 120, 130, 140. Do you see a lot of people selling their assets to get back into Bitcoin? Or do you see that potentially these can rise with Bitcoin?
This is a tough one because there's this mindset, that we don't know when Bitcoin is going to stop, right? We don't, this especially with this cycle, because it's acted so strong. And I think there's money still in with the people in our in our ecosystem. Well, I say our ecosystem because we've been covering the space for so long, but you know what I mean. We know that there are, because some of them have launched projects, and let's be real, they've made 7, possibly 8 figures, right? In launches and this and that. But they're smart. They're smart people, meaning that like they want to stack more Bitcoin. Will they get more risk on in our ecosystem? Absolutely. They did for a couple, but they see Bitcoin as being on this journey. Once it started to launch and go on this journey of like price discovery of, okay, we're hitting all-time highs. I think their mindset is we're not pouring back into this ecosystem until we're done making as much as we can on Bitcoin, right? So if that means like by like end of Q3, beginning of Q4, Bitcoin is at like 200K or 180K, they might start to break off some then, because they're like, we only have a quarter left, and that quarter is probably going to get risk on some, you know what I mean? Maybe some rate cuts and stuff like that. And then you'll start to see more and more get broken off, and then but only to be able to make more Bitcoin, right? So I think during that moment is whenever we see these assets really start to thrive, because they're willing to spend their precious Bitcoin that they waited until Bitcoin got to $180,000, $230,000 and said, okay, now is time to really freaking gigapump the ordinals and runes and Bitcoin ecosystem. And I think that's when it will benefit from it. That's obviously speaking from someone that has been in this ecosystem since early 2023. So I have a little bit of bias there, but at the same time, we've seen what this ecosystem can do, and that there's real money in it.
Yeah, 100%. You're basically saying the house money theory, which means when you go to the casino, when you're betting, you put 200K in, your 200K is now 250K. You're okay with putting your Bitcoin back in your pocket, saying, okay, this is done, but hey, I have 50K more that I can gamble with. If I lose it, whatever, I'm here now to have fun. I'm here now to kind of play with the house money and kind of push that money. I mean, think about that. 50K could skyrocket these 3-4x. Just one of them.
And not just that, though. You won't have to wait for the ancient whales to wake up, because now you had people that benefited from launching ordinal collections that made millions of dollars, but were holding it through this holding it from when they first made their Bitcoin. They were getting paid $50,000 per Bitcoin to now those Bitcoins are worth $200,000, right? So they 4x'd on all that. So now they can really unload, some of that Bitcoin into ordinals again and runes and whatever, right? But there's a lot of people that are in our ecosystem that are sitting on a lot of Bitcoin, I'm sure. And they're just waiting for the right time. They're not going to do it because people are crying and complaining. You know what I mean? And then people are like, well, how come Solana and them do it? Because they do it in a very different way. They do it strategically. When you see a meme coin really have a lot of success from Pump Fun or something like that, that is planned completely. There's no chance that it's not by chance that a meme coin just sounded cool and took off. No, there's big like ammunition being unloaded strategically, because they picked that meme coin because they want to make as much as they can on that specific meme coin and the LP or whatever. I know like with Pump Fund, you don't really control the LP side, but that's how it was before. But anyways, that's my point. And it's a little different in the Bitcoin side. It's a little bit more. I'm not saying there's not cabals. There's cabals everywhere. I just feel like it's less. It's less, I guess, like controlled in a sense on that side, because we don't have liquidity pools and stuff here. But we'll see how it turns out. I think Q4 will be that time frame of whenever this will explode. But and at that point it will benefit. So to answer your question, I know I kind of made that a long answer. I think there's two right now, it's not benefiting from Bitcoin going up. But once Bitcoin is done, that's whenever it's really going to benefit.
No, I 100% agree. 100% agree there as well. Like I'm now more in favor of Q1 of next year being the insanity that we're kind of thinking, right? But these markets are illiquid, right? And illiquid markets can work in two ways. In order to be liquid, you need number to go up. You need people to make a lot of money in these to say, all right, I'm going to start an LP pool with USDC so I can kind of sell down my position when people go in to buy it, right? So illiquid markets getting pumped up. It's only $10,000 it takes in a little, a liquid market for these things to go up 2x, right? If not 3x from that point. If you take $10,000, you go into something like Billy, and you just sit here and you kind of go into the buy, the market. $10,000 is probably going to it's taking the price up a ton. Right. So you take these illiquid markets, you put 10 grand in them, you pump them up, you already made your money. So instead of selling, you're going to pop it into a liquidity pool because you don't think the cycle's over. And that way people can come in and they can just buy your tokens with that USD. That is when people add money to liquidity pools. That is when tokens go from illiquid to liquid, very liquid, is because when you have some big whale who just wants to sell down his tokens, but in a fair way that doesn't dump the price, they add that to the liquidity pools. And I think we're about to see that in ways that really going to pump these prices. Places like DotSwap that have these liquidity pools already up and running, I think we're about to see these 10x. I think DotSwap's TVL, especially with the new Nexus, is going to 10x in my opinion, over the course of the next couple months, and then next year maybe even 100x. I can see them having potentially like 2,000 Bitcoin, 2,060 Bitcoin in TVL very, very soon in the of course the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, remember, this is how the crypto markets really started too. It's not like all of them, like there was no liquidity pools in the very beginning, so people were like, well, you have to have liquidity pools to have success. No, that's not true. You just have to have enough demand to have success. And we saw that in 2023 with BRC20s and ordinals. I mean, in a market that wasn't a bull market, not at all. But their mindset, the difference was their mindset wasn't that Bitcoin has taken off into price discovery. Their mindset was we're in this bear market, but like this is really cool what's happening with Bitcoin right now with these ordinals and BRC20 tokens. And so they weren't like, oh, I got to hold on to my Bitcoin forever, because like, that bull market was still considered about 2 years away. So for them, that's why we had an amazing winter in 2023, because people were willing to unload their Bitcoin into these Bitcoin layer 1 assets. And I think we'll see that again once they realize, okay, Bitcoin's probably chilled. It's hitting that 230, 250. It's at least chilled for like a good amount of time, depending on what their perspective is on that, by the way. So
100%, I agree 100%. But like we're talking on-chain's I think is going to be huge. But going back to kind of Kraken though, Kraken gives an opportunity for people to come in and buy these assets with dollars.
Yep.
Right. Kind of gets you away from thinking in the Bitcoin terms, how we think today, and opens it up to a lot more people who don't think in Bitcoin terms, who think in dollar terms. And now those people for the first time ever have access to tokens like Dog, right? Because they're not going to put their VPN on and use exchanges like we use, like MEXC and Gate.io and stuff like that. They want to do everything legit. They want to do everything to where not saying there's ain't legit, but you're not allowed to use them without a VPN. They want to use stuff where they don't have to do that stuff. They want to use Kraken on their cell phone, just like they use Coinbase. And adding stuff like Dog, adding stuff like Runes is going to pump these assets to Valhalla 100%.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it.
Yep. But that's our show, guys. We have 700 people in here. Shout out to every single one of you guys, man. Really, really appreciate it. Absolutely awesome. X today, you guys are absolutely amazing. 680 people just on X right now, and absolutely awesome. But that's our show.
Yes, sir. It was a great way to kick off the week. I'll tell you that. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll say this every day until we stop, but without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we're so thankful for that. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it as well. They're kind of the second half. So if you can check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes like Dog Go to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because you can earn Amber points. What are Amber points? Amber points are points that are going to be going towards some alpha, which is going to be a give back to early adopters. You can put 2 and 2 together there. Shizzy's obviously crushing it. He has 10,000 of those suckers, but you know, Sats Terminal is going to give you be the most liquid. They're going to give you the most liquid and most best price token because they get it. They aggregate it from everywhere, right? So they also support alkanes as well. Alkanes has been a hot standard on Bitcoin as well. So if you're into alkanes, you want to trade for swap for Mist, you can do so there. Methane, you can do so there at satsterminal.com. And they're going to have some big announcements coming up very, very soon for other products and features. So make sure that you're following their X account. Head over to satsterminal.com today. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their blitz markets. Their blitz markets are like a fun way to kind of gamify like perps and stuff like that. You get it's a running clock of 10 minutes to pick the price of Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana. You can choose to either choose that it goes down or up from that price. And then you get an additional 10 minutes to see if you were correct or incorrect there. But they're going to have a lot of features added to their platform, guys. Stay tuned. You can create your own markets in the future and earn 1.5% of the total volume there. Or if you refer a friend, you can earn 1% of the total volume there. Head over to betbtc.win. Dive into their docs and join their Discord so you can ask any question that you have. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals, your rare Pepes, all that good stuff from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Ethereum. You can do so with the Taproot Wizards right now and take a loan out on your wizard on the Gandhi platform, which is the biggest lending platform on Ethereum. But you're going to be able to do this on Base, Abstract, possibly Solana, maybe Merlin too in the near future. So just stay tuned with that. But you're going to be able to use eventually their Agent AI Hustle, which is their AI product that eventually is going to be able to guide you and vault these ordinals and stuff and help you take them over so it won't be as tedious for you. But you can use Hustle right now on the Solana side of things and kind of guide you through the ecosystem over there. You can ask Hustle questions like, hey, Hustle, give me a couple safe 5x plays on Solana. He'll bring back a couple tokens for you guys. And then, give you reasons why he thinks that these are good candidates there. Also, they're going to be adding different tech stacks to Hustle, like I said, the Bitcoin side and possibly EVM. Head over to agenthustle.ai today. One last thing about Hustle, though, if you do hold the Tensor token, make sure that you are going to migrate.fund to migrate your Tensor tokens to the new Hustle token. So this is going to help the community and the project really, really grow. So make sure you take advantage of that because there's a short window. There's only 8 days left there. So make sure you're doing that. And then lastly, they have a TGE Bitcoin rune that's going to be happening in September, October of this year. You can actually participate in a pre-sale. If you go to OpenSea and search Founder Vaults, you can see these NFTs here. You can purchase one, and then once you get close to the TGE, they will give you instructions on how to get that Bitcoin wallet with those runes in there. Head over to emblem.vision today to learn more about what they are offering with all their products there. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They should be launching any day on Botonix. Botonix is the spider chain of Bitcoin Layer 2. But they're going to be doing a co-promotion with Botonix, so where you can earn on the Botonix side, which Botonix is doing Bitcoin kind of to give away their early adopters. And then you can earn XP on the Artura side. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. And then they'll be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 in the near future as well. And there will be a co-promotion with Hemi as well. But Artura, you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens there, like Dog Go to the Moon, 40 Sats, $1 Billion Cat, the popular ones, right? You can't really trade that synthetic versions of those tokens right now, and Artura is going to be the first to offer that. But they're going to kind of kick things off with the traditional tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, eventually get to some of the ones outside the ecosystem like XRP, Tau as well. But if you're not into trading, that's okay. You can actually earn by adding liquidity to their vaults, and then you're going to earn XP by doing any type of transaction on their platform. So head over to Artura.finance so you can join their community and ask them any questions you have. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They first started on Cardano, but they're still building there. And then they also moved to Bitcoin to build as well. On the Cardano side, they have built out an amazing platform where you can borrow, lend, all that great stuff. But you can actually participate in their Aquarium platform, which you can offer liquidity to and earn Babel fees. So it's really, really cool. You can actually use other tokens other than ADA for gas, and that's what Aquarium is about there. And then on the Bitcoin side, they have staking vaults that they offer to Bitcoin retail users for Bitcoin Layer 1, the first to offer staking vaults for retail users. They've already done Season 1 and Season 2 of Dog Go to the Moon. But they are going to be rolling out a Season 3, but this time they mixed it up. So you're going to be able to stake your dog to earn alkanes, and then vice versa. You're going to be able to stake your alkanes to earn dog tokens. So stay tuned as they roll out more information on that. And if you are a builder and you need an airdrop tokens, you can do so with their airdrop tab on their Bitcoin side. You can airdrop runes or alkanes. It's really simple. There's two options. You can do it in bulk by uploading a CSV file, which is a Google Sheets or a Microsoft Excel file, or you can do it manually, one by one. And so it's really useful. It's cost efficient and very quick. We tested these out, so we know exactly how they work, and it's smooth. So head over to fluidtokens.com and also, if you're interested in getting a staking vault started for your community, head over to their Discord so you can ask them any questions to get started there. They have a team waiting for you guys. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet for Bitcoin and Cardano, and very soon Sui. This team is building the best UI UX for digital wallets. And if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play. You can download the apps there. And you can swap for Bitcoin runes. You can swap for Dog of the Moon. They partnered with SAS Terminal to allow that to be possible. And then on the Cardano side, you can swap for SNEC. You can swap for FLDT, Tokyo, or Toke token by way of Dex Hunter. So they definitely are all about making the experience a great one. It's a one-stop shop, basically. You'll never have to leave your wallet. You can actually even find alpha there, as our channel is in their alpha section along with some other YouTubers. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more there. And then Merlin Chain, we talked to Jeff today. Merlin is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. The AI 0.3 version of the wizard right now, you can do DeFi functions like swap, stake, but in the near future, you saw the demo that Jeff had, you're going to be able to ask all types of cross-chain questions like, what are the top holders of specific coins holding and these type of things, and they're going to give you links to go see exactly to GM and see exactly what they're holding, all types of stuff. So you can have the edge by using the wizard, and you're going to be able to trade with just your Bitcoin on pretty much any chain that's supported, and they're going to be supporting all the popular ones there. They also just got listed on Kraken, so that's huge. The team is constantly strengthening their brand, their reputation there. And then also there is a staking option. There's 3 options. First one's Bitcoin. This closes at 100 Bitcoin. It's at 65 right now, so about 35 Bitcoin left. But you can earn 8 to 21% APR with the Bitcoin you stake there. And then it is locked until September 30th of this year. Just keep that in mind. And then you have 2 other options. The other options have to do with the Merlin Chain token. You can do a flexible, which is a day-to-day. It does take 7 days to withdraw these tokens, so just keep that in mind. But you can earn 15% APR and withdraw the rewards every day. And then there's the 6-month lockup period called the bonding, which you can also withdraw the rewards every day, but you earn 45% APR there. So head over to merlinchain.io and check them out there. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. They have recently added support to Bitcoin Derby as well, and they are working on a gaming launch pad. So stay tuned and make sure you're following their X account there. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. This Thursday, we will have Fonzie. Most of you guys are familiar with Fonzie. He is the founder of Ordinal Hive. He's going to be on with us explaining some amazing features and just more information about their rollout here. So head over to Ordinal Hive and check out their platform as well. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this entire time.
Yup. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website, have them go back to 2023, go back to the earliest one and kind of read through it. They're very short reads. They'll take you about a minute, 2 minutes for each one, but that'll actually get you kind of caught up better than people who just show up and don't, right? For the sense of you understanding what was happening then, why we were bullish on that, and kind of keep going. You're basically, your knowledge is like me and Yagobi's at that point, reading all these articles. You definitely want to check these articles out, guys. Brand new article dropped last week, tokenized equities. Learn all about what is going on with the stock X tokens, why you can get Tesla X or X stock tokens. I'm sorry, why you can get Tesla X and a lot of other different ones on chain. Find everything out in this article right here. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend everyone have a VPN. And then I also highly recommend getting a VPN. So if you go to nordvpn.com, they're going to have you pay $11.59. Using our link here, as you can see, you can get the deal for $3.39. Lock it in for 2 years. If you lock it in for 3 months, you can't get that deal again with that same email. You have to come in with another email and do it again. So I highly recommend locking it in for 2 years, set it, forget it, and then in 2 years coming back with a different email and getting it again. That's the cheapest way to kind of stay under just $3.39, potentially forever. That's kind of what I do, and I recommend Nord for a lot of different reasons. Let's say you go to a website and they're geo-blocking you. What does that mean? You go there and they say, hey, because you're in the United States, because you're in this country or this country, you do not have access to our site. That is not your country that's doing that. First off, that is the website itself. They're just trying to protect themselves from nothing. There's no reason to be scared anymore. I think we're going to get proper legislation in the U.S. that's going to make this stuff not exist anymore anyway. But for now, using a VPN gets you around that stuff there. And also, we have some of the best merch in all crypto. I don't think a lot of people understand that we are probably one of the number one sellers in merch. If you guys want some shirts, you guys want some hats, jackets with some ordinals, I think this stuff is going to blow up, guys. I think I really do. And you're going to have access to this before anyone else because you guys are paying attention. It pays to pay attention. We got shirts, hats, hoodies, and so much more, guys. I just added this new hoodie over here with the dog go to the moon. We got the angry dog. We are all Satoshi Nakamoto. I have a 401k, a Gusano hoodie. This one is fire, by the way, and so much more, guys. Here, check everything out here at onchainrevolution.io. And guys, remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.